a thing for companies. I said, you have great power. He said, well, the government doesn't get involved. You got to do it. And he said, well, we will look into it. Next day, they announced 5 factories coming in. And he was a great prime minister and a great guy. And he's a friend of ours. And he was forced. He had a medical difficulty, but I'll tell you what a fabulous guy. But we had. I mean, what you're doing in Michigan has been amazing. Now, you got to get your governor to open up your state. That goes all the way over to there, and all the way over. Go to the turn the cameras. They never like turning the cameras. They never like to show the kind of crowds. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Go ahead, turn your camera. Go ahead, turn it. They hate to do it. They hate to show the crowds. You know, if you're watching television, which a lot of people are when we do this stuff, or they wouldn't put us on, but they always have like this face right here. This. We've actually made a couple of stars. You know, there's somebody behind me here. They try and show as few people as possible. And if they had a certain look, it worked out pretty well. They became stars. That's the way it works. But you know, it's an honor to have it. We're having these crowds in all fairness all over the country. I don't even say it was in a big crowd. I just get off the plane and we talk. And the spirit is so incredible. Our enthusiasm is so incredible. No, the spirit is incredible. I don't think there's ever been anything like that little phrase. I won't even say it because they'll say, oh, why is he bringing that up? So I won't say it, but you say it. But that's never been used before. Nobody's ever heard that before. And we like Ronald Reagan. We like a lot of people. Nobody's ever heard that phrase before. You know why? Because people, first of all, we've made tremendous progress. We've rebuilt our military. We've cut your taxes at the highest level. We've gotten rid of more regulations than any president in history, no matter how long. Oh, by the way, we just set a record. By the end of the first term, we will have had maybe even more than 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. So you have Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Gorsuch, and you have Amy is going through right now. She's done amazingly well. It's amazing to watch her compared to some of these radical left senators. It's like from a different ballgame, right? It's like, go ahead. Go ahead. Hold up. We'd like to see your notes. Oh, okay, here they are. There's nothing. Unlike Joe, she doesn't need notes. It's nice. Joe, he takes out the other day, you see it, he takes out notes for 200 billion. He's lost it, you know that. The modern left does not use reason or persuasion to advance their cause. They use intimidation, coercion, and control, and worse. They demand absolute allegiance or else. And you saw that yesterday. Did you see Dianne Feinstein? Lindsey Graham's a good guy. You know, they're friendly. They've been working forever together. And she happened to grab him. He grabbed her. You know, it's so friendly. They want to destroy the woman. These people are sick. I know we want to bring it all together, but we got to sort of work with these things. One of the most sinister weapons of the extreme left culture is a thing called cancel or cancel culture. They want to cancel our entire heritage. If you do not repeat each and every one of their lies. You will be banned, censored. Big tech titans, what they do, they harass, they expel, they fire you from your job or denied the chance to earn a living. Here in Michigan, a teacher was fired for tweeting that Trump is our president. She got fired. Where is she? Is she here tonight? Now, can you imagine? But you know, we got a lot of people that like that. We like that person a lot. Whoever you are, we love you and we'll be there for you. Did you hear about that? Did you hear about that? Nobody told me you're going to have 40-mile-an-hour winds today. Would somebody give me a hat? Will you please give me a hat? I got all these hats. I'm the only one without a hat on. Give me a hat. They'll go into that big, beautiful plane if they don't have a hat in that plane. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's a beautiful plane. We have a beautiful country. Actually, I have the exact same plane. Boeing 757. It's a beautiful plane. Look at that, though. Get me a hat out of that plane. In Ohio, a high school football player was suspended for displaying a flag honoring our great police. You saw that? When the New York Times published a piece by Senator Tom Cotton, by the way, great senator from Arkansas, right? Great guy and great senator. The editor of the New York Times had to resign because they put Tom Cotton, who's brilliant, he's a brilliant person, brilliant student, brilliant everything. They put his piece in the New York Times, and the person that put it in had to resign. Can you believe this? When the Philadelphia Inquirer published a piece saying that rioters shouldn't destroy buildings, that was the end of that journalist. I mean, can you believe it? These are not the tactics of a respectable political movement. This is the behavior of fascists. As bad as you can get. The point of cancel culture is not to convince you, it's to humiliate you and break you and control you. But the American people will never submit, we will never apologize, and we will not be controlled, and never be broken. Now, nobody's seen anything like what's going on. Now, in other countries, you have seen it, and those countries have in every single case ended up very badly. It's never going to happen to this country, and this country will never be a socialist country. The most divisive and insidious strategy of the Marxists and the Democrats, socialists, and communists, in all fairness. You know, people say, oh, that's not nice to use. Well, you know, that's the step, that's the next step. You know, that's where it goes. Is their crusade against American history, right? American history. And I just brought this out because they had things like, you wouldn't even believe this. They falsely and constantly smear America as a sinister and racist country that must be torn apart piece by piece. It has to be torn apart. We're not tearing anything apart. We're here today, and you know the truth. America is the most magnificent, most virtuous nation that has ever existed. We've liberated millions from tyranny, rescued countless millions all around the world from poverty, and built the most exceptional republic in human history. There's never been anything close. And you know what? I have a little secret just in this group, this small group of thousands of people. We're getting better and better and stronger. And we're gonna have the best year we ever had. Yet the radical left despises this glorious inheritance. They despise it. When you watch and you see AOC +3 and you see these people, they actually despise it. Last month, the mayor of Washington, D.C. released a report that proposed the idea of removing or altering the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, the statues of Benjamin Franklin, Andrew Jackson, and Christopher Columbus. No, I mean, this is a serious report. And he says this thing. I agree, I'm not allowed to say that. No, this was a group, a star-spangled group. Let's get rid of the Washington Monument. Oh, that's a great idea, right? Now, these people, but you know what? We laugh and we smile, and everyone thinks it's, when this first started happening with statues of people that most of us, almost all of us, never heard of, started on the, I said, be careful, because they'll go after Jefferson, Washington, they'll go after Lincoln. And that was 3 years ago, and a friend of mine came to me the other day. He said, you said this was going to happen. I said, I did? He said, yeah, you said all of a sudden it'll keep going up. They took out Robert E. Lee. They want to take out Grant. They want to take out anything. They basically want to take out our heritage. And we're not letting this happen. And Biden has absolutely no control. He's shot, number one. But even if he wasn't shot, he never had the kind of control that you have to be president. So then you have a group of people that want to blow up a gorgeous thing. We were leading by so much. This thing wasn't even going to be an election, and then we had the plague come in. I had to go back to work on this stuff. I didn't have to come to Michigan. I said, look, we're building all these plants. You got the best year. You had the best year last year that you've ever had. You're going to have a better year. You're going to have a better year. You're going to have a better year next year. But this thing was over. Look, nothing's ever over, right? But I would have had to work about 1/10. Maybe less than that. It was essentially, we had the greatest economy, greatest employment, African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, women, with a diploma from high school, without a diploma from high school, top of your class at MIT, it didn't matter. You had the greatest economy you ever had. And don't worry, you're gonna have that next year. When you see the third quarter numbers, you're gonna have great numbers, okay? You're gonna have great numbers, but, we had to close it up, and we saved millions of lives. It was supposed to be 2.2. The fake news never says that. But we are rebuilding, and we're doing things that you wouldn't believe. But this cancel culture. So when we started, and I had to start all over, and I had to do, we had to do things a lot different. Became a lot different country for a period of time because we had this horrible plague that came from China, and we're not going to forget that it came from China, and all over the world it went, and it came from China, okay? It came from China, the China virus. So things changed, and we signed an incredible trade deal with China, but the ink hadn't even dried, and this happened. But I made a speech at a magnificent place called Mount Rushmore, right? In South Dakota. And I made the speech, and I think it was a very good speech, and it was well received and all of that. It was so beautiful. The whole place, you have to see this. It was so beautiful. And the governor is fantastic. You know Christie, right? Fantastic. And the people are fantastic, and they're so proud of it. And then I read where they want to blow up Mount Rushmore. Before I got there, they want to blow it up. We want to blow the face off Mount Rushmore. I don't think that's happening. I think the people of South Dakota might not handle that too well. So it's not happening. But think of it. Where does this thinking come from? Where does this sickness come from? And we have to stop it, and we've been. Like Sleepy Joe said nothing when statues of Christopher Columbus. Think of that, Christopher Columbus. They want to blow up all the statues. Now, he just blew the Italian vote, by the way, so I don't know. Anybody who's Italian here by any chance? If you're Italian, do you happen to like Christopher Columbus? Christopher Columbus, no, think of it. You're Italian, they want to blow up. We had it, I think it was in New York. So they were going to rip down this gorgeous, right, New York, right? And the Italians circled it, they saw it. That was the end of those people. They just sort of went away. They're sitting there and standing there. And they had various things that they were holding. I won't get into that because he's inciting violence, the president. No, but the Italians, a group of Italians that lived in the neighborhood, surrounded this particular statue. And after about 5 minutes of talk back and forth, the radical anarchists and the Antifa people that nobody ever liked to talk about. They don't like to say Antifa. They don't like to say Antifa. They like to blame everything on the right. This is the left. They like to blame everything on the right. But the Antifa people, okay? So they wanted to do it. But when they saw this group of people, they said, you know what? Let's take a pass. Let's go someplace else and rip down the statue. But now they're not doing it too much because I signed into law. I signed a bill that gives you 10 years in jail if you rip that. So this is the group, though. So this is the Statues and Memorial Recommendation using the mayor's position, Washington, D.C., or the National Capital Memorial Advisory Commission. Recommend the federal government remove, relocate the following: Christopher Columbus statue, Benjamin Franklin statue, Andrew Jackson, great general, really good president, a great general. Andrew Jackson, the Battle of New Orleans, right? Right, the ragtags, remember? He came in with the British, they came in their beautiful uniforms, he had the ragtags. The battle lasted about a half hour, right? They want to take that statue of Andrew Jackson down right away. Thomas Jefferson, that's a tough one to take down, right? Thomas Jefferson. They want to take down the Jefferson Memorial. Anybody see the Jefferson? I don't think we're moving. I'll tell you what, if I wasn't your president last summer, you may have the Jefferson Memorial taken down. It may be down. They weren't playing games. We weren't playing games either. The George Washington, okay, here's the beauty. We want to take down the George Washington Memorial, the monument. This is the commission. This is what we're dealing with, folks. They wanted to remove the name of George Washington from all of the places all over the country where they use it. Then they found out there's like 5,000 places. Now we'll keep the name George Washington if you don't mind. If the media would perhaps put it correctly. A lot of people back there. There's always a lot of people. You watch those red lights, and as soon as I start talking about the red lights go off because I know what I'm doing. You know, Joe Biden said nothing when statues of Christopher Columbus were in trouble, and a heroic signer of the Declaration of Independence was removed by the Democrat politicians in his home state of Delaware, which he never leaves, in all fairness. Where's Joe Biden speaking today, Delaware? He doesn't speak. You know what he does? He gets up. How about his news conferences where the fake news media gives him the questions and the answers? They say, what do you think about this or that? And then he reads the answer. I've been doing this stuff not that long, and I haven't actually been doing it. Relatively speaking, I've been doing it for a very short period of time, right? In fact, that's one of the reasons they said I could never win. They said he's never been a politician. But the fact is, they gave him the questions, they gave him the answers. They will ask a question, and he will read to them the answer. And did you see the other night with George Stephanopoulos? It was like, you know, they call them softballs. Yeah. And then I had to go on with that person, you know, that person. Oh, she was jumping out of her seat. She was jumping out of her seat. And thank you very much. Everybody know Jim? He's very conservative. He's a big star, and I hate to say this, it's very incorrect, you don't say it anymore, but the women really like him a lot. Normally when I have a hat, I like to take the tie off the back. Okay, thank you all. So, last week Biden, he attacked Christopher Columbus by refusing to recognize Columbus Day. And he wants to change the name of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. Who likes that idea? Who likes it? What the heck is that? That's politically incorrect. See, what they don't understand is they're politically incorrect. So he wants to change it to Indigenous Peoples Day. Not as long as I'm president, let me just tell you. But this is what, you know what, that's just a point, but this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. The radical left is eradicating our history, and weak Joe Biden will let them do it. Now, what about his vice presidential candidate? And by the way, I hope she's in good shape, because a number of people in her group have caught COVID. COVID, as they say. So we all wish her best. Do we all wish her best? Yes. We do. We hope she's doing well, but she's now, I guess, she's in seclusion, right? How did Mike Pence do against you? That was an easy one. I said, Mike, that was an easy one. He's been a great vice president, but he had an easy evening. I said, Mike, you had an easy evening. That's not fair. San Francisco just announced plans for a fascist purge of the names of local schools, erasing the names of Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson from all schools. What are we going to do about this, right? Local. That's Nancy Pelosi area. You know, that's Nancy. I always say, Nancy, go home and take care of the homeless in San Francisco. Never say. So she does. She goes home and takes care of her home, which is a very beautiful home. They even want to erase the names of Democrat senators and Republican senators, current and past. You know, they want to erase the name of Clinton. Yeah, hey, that'll be nice. Crooked Hillary will take her name. Does she have her name on it? I don't know if she's got her name on anything. If she does, I'm all for it. Take it down. Crooked Hillary. Place to be than a Trump rally, you know? And generally, we don't call it a rally because, you know, you're not allowed to have rallies because you can't meet more than 2 people. You know, they had a number of states, and they had it so that it was all against me. I think Minnesota, but a lot of them, where you can't have a rally. And it said you cannot have groups larger than 3 people. You cannot have anything to do with politics. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. I said, well, wait a minute. So I'm now precluded from ever going to that state and talking to the people, which is really bad. They said, no, you can't do it. I said, well, is there any exclusion? Yes. Only protests, right? Exclusion is a protest. And they didn't even use the word peaceful. I do because I like to make it sound a little. The only thing you could do is you could protest, you could riot in the streets of Minneapolis, burn down their stores, you could beat the hell out of people, you could do whatever you want. So I said, I have an idea. Let's call all our rallies, which we do, peaceful protests. Because if we called this a rally, we'd have a problem. So we call it a peaceful protest. So officially, if anyone asks you, like the fake news when you're walking in, just say, no, this was a peaceful protest. Thank you very much. If you're a moderate Democrat or liberal who knows that your party has gone totally off the rails, you have a moral duty to immediately stop this lunacy. You must, by law, join the Republican Party. We welcome you to the Republican Party and the party of Abraham Lincoln. You know, a lot of people know. It's the party of Trump. Well, we've done a lot. I'll tell you, we've expanded this party. You see all in Michigan and all these places. Thank you. Now, you really drive them crazy if you say 12 more years. Then they say, he is a fascist, he is a fascist. 12 more years, 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 12 more years. Only in Michigan, only in Michigan. Lawless rioters and flag burners have in common is that they're desperate to try and have a victory with a person that's totally unqualified mentally to be president. He's unqualified, you know? No, he's unqualified. Ask yourself this question. Do you want to vote for the candidate supported by anti-American rioters, which he is? Or do you want to vote for the candidate supported by the heroes of law enforcement in virtue? Biden will surrender our country to the mob.